In this video, I'm going to show you how I turned this garage into an amazing aquarium studio. So I just finished moving, which was a huge undertaking to set up this massive tank here and to move all of my fish and all of my aquariums into this garage. And I really wanted to create an awesome space to continue making tanks, making videos, and sharing my love of aquariums. So that's what this room is all about. If you want to see my process of moving everything in here, building stands, setting up this tank, especially getting this in here, moving all of my fish, I've got a playlist for all of my moving vlogs, so make sure you check that out. And while you're at it, give me a like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. But let's get into the video. I'm going to do a little bit of a studio tour and just kind of talk off the top of my head a little bit about how I set all this up. Let's get started. So the garage is in here. This is kind of the hallway through my house. Let's go in here. So this is kind of the first thing that you see as you come through the door into the garage studio. You see all of the aquariums here and the curtains and everything that I've put up. So let's just start over here in the corner. I've got this room divider here, and all of the stuff that I purchased for this room I just got from IKEA. So honestly, it was like pretty cheap to do all this. This is one of the more expensive things, but I think it's worth it. It hides the water heater, which is just behind this. And it kind of is just a nice aesthetic here. Kind of distracts from the washer and dryer, which are right here. And it kind of frames these houseplants, the Monstera and Peace Lily. And these used to be in another aquarium of mine, and I repotted them here. For now, I'll kind of see what I want to do with them. And moving right along, there's obviously the first massive aquarium here, but I'll talk about that in a second. I want to draw your attention to the curtains that I've put just above here. There's curtains on this wall and also the wall behind you over here, which is behind my computer. And I'll look at that in a moment. But this is super cheap to set up. It's just 2 curtain rods and these nice blue curtains behind, which I think really frames everything really well here and really makes it look like a gallery. And here's the first aquarium. So this isn't scaped or anything. This is just kind of holding at the moment. It's just full of all of my plants, just kind of in bunches, and all of my fish as well. Because when I moved, I basically set this up first to be able to move all of the plants and all of the fish into as I was getting all of the tanks in here. So I'm going to do an awesome scape in this tank soon, but it's kind of the last thing on my list of aquarium setups at the moment. And I've got all of the storage kind of set up down below, towels and chemicals, testing kits, food, all of that sort of stuff. Then the filter and electronics set up over here, which they're a little bit of a mess right now in terms of cables, but I've got everything raised up just to make sure no water gets into them, but I plan to kind of work on that in the future and make it a little bit nicer. And as we go down the line, got this aquarium that's all set up with light and filter and heater, which is just waiting to be scaped. I might even get to this tonight, we'll see. And behind, I've got some house plants that I haven't completely found a place for yet. They just get some decent lighting here. So kind of waiting to see, where I want to put those exactly. I wish I had some more good shelving for them, but they're a work in progress. And here we actually have some finished tanks. So in my moving vlog series, there's a video of me moving these 2 shrimp tanks. So I didn't set up these scapes here in the studio. I basically drained them down to just a couple inches and then moved them from my old house to here and filled them back up again. And they're a bit of a mixed bag in how well they traveled. The plants and everything did fine, and this tank was totally good to go. And I actually, since moving, I did a little bit of maintenance on this tank, and I cleaned out some of the plants, removed a little bit of, quite a lot of the floating plants, and did a little bit of a rearrange on it. There'll be a video on that coming soon. But this tank, unfortunately, did not do quite as well. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but I had to leave the tanks for a few days, and I came back, and this one had had like a little bit of an ammonia spike, and I'm not totally sure why, honestly. And so I did lose a few of the adult shrimp, unfortunately, but there are quite a few baby shrimp in here. So I'm hoping that it will bounce back given time. I'm really keeping an eye on it. And luckily the water locally here is quite a bit harder than the water where I was living before. So that should be great for the shrimp. So yeah, I'm monitoring this tank pretty closely for now, but I love how this one looks, so I really want it to thrive. And this tank, this is actually a totally new scape. I set this up about 3 days ago, and I did go out and get some new plants from a local shop to put in the background. And so I kind of want to wait for everything to grow in, for the tank to settle, and to get some fish in here before I do like a full video on it. But if you haven't, make sure you subscribe so you can see when I come out with that video in the future. And this corner of the studio is just kind of storage. I've got this nice wire rack set up here that just has some, storage, basically a bunch of lights, power strips, kind of random bits and bobs that I will need to have on hand periodically. I've got some spare tanks and things down here. And then I've got this nice table here in the background that I can move around the studio to use to work, basically. I kind of wish it had wheels. That'd make it way more convenient. But for now, it's pretty good. I can move it kind of up and down the row of tanks here and just, keep it handy as I need it. And this corner of the studio is kind of the leftover from moving corner. Basically, just have a bunch of boxes back here that are obscuring some leftover bags of substrate down there, which I will use. And my vision for this corner is to eventually have some more shelving here, maybe some racks for some nano tanks or something like that. And this is kind of the hardscape and substrate area. I've got this nice rack here to put all my unused hardscape on, and rocks and that kind of thing, scatter gravel. I just got some new Sirius stone, so I'm looking forward to using this. There's also a bunch of botanicals, and then I've got sand, aqua soil, scatter gravel, that thing over there. And the hardscape is looking a little bit sparse, but that's because I'm keeping a bunch of stuff kind of soaking right now in the big tank. So it'll just be ready to be used underwater. And then this is just my computer area, workstation, where I'm editing the video that you're watching right now. Don't need to say that much about it, but it's really nice to have here. And you can see that I've got the curtains on this side as well, kind of mirroring both sides. And I did the same thing, just put up the curtain rods. It was super easy to just drill them into the wall and hang the curtains. And there wasn't very good lighting here initially, so I added this kind of strip of track lighting right on the ceiling, and very conveniently, there's an outlet right above that's used for the garage door. So I just have this thing kind of hanging down. There's a switch right here I can turn on and off, and it's pointed, basically at each side. So I can light the tanks and all of the plants on one side really easily while doing the same thing on the other. And I have some of those lights pointed right here for now because my vision in the future is to move this maybe kind of further down or just behind the camera and have another whole setup of aquariums. So kind of just another stand like is on the other side I want to have right here. And then this is what the studio looks like from where the garage door is. And you can see that I've got these rugs, 2 of them kind of running down the center here. And they're nice. They're just like a rattan. They kind of have like a beach vibe, and the blue gives sort of like an oceany river feel. So I feel like the aesthetic, honestly, is pretty good for aquariums. One other thing that I should mention is that you can see these wooden blocks here. We've got these here and then also on the other stands down at the end. But this whole garage is on a bit of a slope, which has shown some challenges. But we have overcome it. I've overcome it with the help of some friends who helped me with these blocks, and it's made sure that the stands are level. And so I think for the future, that means that I'm just gonna have to get slightly smaller stands and do tanks that are more this size. Basically just, this is the only tank that's gonna be this big in this studio as far as I'm thinking right now. But it's not a problem. It was a challenge, but due to the help of friends and family, I overcame it. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. I think I definitely need to get some more art in here. And my fiance says that I need a little bit more like warm lighting in places. So maybe some softer lamps kind of around. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. If you have any comments or suggestions for me, let me know. I'd love to hear them. All right, guys, so that is the video for today. I hope you enjoyed it, this little tour of my new studio. I'm super, super excited about it. I can't wait to keep making aquariums in here. And I hope you guys enjoyed seeing it as well. Stay tuned for some new videos of aquascapes coming up in the future and other aquarium builds and related content. I'm going to have some kind of compilations coming out of my old tanks that I took down while I was moving. So stay tuned for those. But thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.